Vem är du?
Jag är döden.
Kommer du för att hämta mig?
Jag har redan länge gått vid din sida.
Det vet jag.
Är du beredd?
Min kropp är rädd. Inte jag själv.
I guess we roll back to the dark side a little bit today. We get a lot of questions regarding why drinking human blood. We have a lot of videos that get shared with us. A lot of the information in those videos actually come from correct sources, and some of them actually startle me because it's information that I have never heard anyone else speak of outside of very high-level magical lodges and in what used to be our secret society. I was startled to hear some of it, so someone out there definitely knows what they're talking about. The question is, of course, why do they drink human blood? Let me give you a very quick answer to that. One, the reptilian race as a whole, and many of the other alien races that have visited this planet, find that human blood, because it is full of glandular secretions, is very intoxicating. It's like the equivalent of wine to us, especially the reptilian race. They find a unique and distinct pleasure from drinking it, and it is almost like a drug to them. Now, the pituitary gland for us is where our DMT is stored, so every time that you dream, when you were born and at the point of death, the brain is saturated with the pituitary chemical DMT, and that's how you get those amazing visions. We can actually ingest DMT and have incredible experiences. Those alien races that, like our pituitary glands, do it for the very same reason. The reptilians enjoy the blood because of all the vast chemical and biological functions that pass through it. If the reptilian race can get humans to drink blood, they've won those humans for life. It was much in the same way if they could convince us to give up our children for sacrifices, they knew that submission was a footstep away. Humans can get very, very sick from drinking human blood. There really is little to no value unless that blood is saturated with adrenaline. They believe that it opens up certain energy pathways and gates to extremely horrible dark places. That's the whole thing about vibration, though, is the acts that you commit and the thoughts that you have will attract spiritual entities that are likewise to those energies. And so these groups who do this a lot are surrounded by Transplatonian beings, reptilian energies, even earth-based energies that are truly, truly horrid. But because we have moved into a form of Christian and major religion, those old pagan deities that were true earthbound deities and were true human deities, the ones that were, that horribly twisted, have generally gone ignored, except for the most secret of the secret religions. None of them receive enough attention to even be mentioned now, and because I don't want to bring attention to them, I won't mention them. So that is the whole thing about drinking the blood. It is an act of submission that the reptilians have taught humans to do, and they know that any group they can get to do this really will have no moral qualm to perform the other acts. So you have a group willing to traumatize and terrorize a child and then drink its blood. I don't know what they couldn't justify doing to anyone past then, and that's the whole point, is the German SS had to go through such intense desensitization and trauma for them to be able to carry out the acts that Nazi Germany wanted them to do. This is much the same way. Once you can get these people to do these horrible acts, then morally, what's stopping them from committing global genocide? There is a dark, magnetic, manifesting force that exists in this world. Part of the path to true wisdom is to understand that it is working with this entity that you either set yourself free from it forever or you enslave yourself to it. There's the right-hand path and there's the left-hand path. The Rider-Waite Tarot deck holds all the correct symbolism. Do not fall into the Aleister Crowley deck. It is a deck that is meant to enslave you. He was nothing more than a puppet for the entities that he contacted and for the Illuminati. If this pisses you off, I don't care. Fuck you. So, let me explain what I mean by this. This entity, I cannot speak its name, but it is not the Christian devil, although the Christian devil is based off this entity, and the Christian religion itself is a gigantic hoax, except for the Christ energy, the inner sun, the light and the truth, and all these things that are in you anyways, and you have to set free for yourself. The second coming is when the rest of you wake up and become Christ. He's not coming back, ever. It's you who must become him. So, this entity helps manifest the world. He's the physical ruler of the world in that it makes sure that you can receive wealth, women, and all luxuries of the physical senses for a price. It'll enslave you. It'll use you in its army of little builders when you're done. However, you can approach it and you can say, you don't own me, but I'm going to use your builders to build a world of freedom. And I know it sounds bizarre and I know it sounds counterintuitive, but it is how this works. You either go to it and tell it you are not its slave, or it enslaves you through silence, because silence is consent. If you do not tell it you are not its slave, it'll assume that you are. Now here's the big ruse. The Illuminati, through walking the left-hand path, has decided that they are going to try to prolong their lives, get as much wealth, as much power as they want, and basically rule you as kings. You are slaves. The reptilian agenda also, these beings are fully aware of this entity and have chosen to work with it. It is what they do, it is what they've chosen, and they are masters of it. And they have come to this world, they have taught the Illuminati, and the Illuminati are continuing on with their tradition here as their human servants. They believe that when the reptiles come to power, that they will be above human, and everything else, which is us, will be their slaves and their food. Essentially, in 1913, the Act of the Federal Reserve Bank was signed. This was a gigantic ruse. It basically said that we will loan you money that we don't have, that we're taking power away from your Congress to print your money. We will loan you all the money that you want at interest as long as every single United States citizen is put up as collateral. You are a social security. That's why you have a social security number. And basically, your sweat, toil, and suffering is what pays them back, because they gave us fake money. Now we have to give them something real in return. The deeper implication is this. Not only do they believe they own your physical body, they also believe they own your spiritual body. They own you completely and fully. So, that is why when you awake on the astral plane, there are many, many times dark entities there to scare you away from it, because the astral world is a powerful, liberating experience, and it shows you the gigantic, unlimited potential that you have. That by you taking personal responsibility for you, you can untap unlimited potential for yourself. The Illuminati does not want you to know that, because the smaller, weaker, more fearful you are, the easier it is to keep you docile and a slave. So, what this means is they also believe that by trading your soul for theirs, when they die, they don't have to go serve their dark master that they have signed the Faustian contract with. They are trading you for their souls. And unless you know this, and unless you say to this entity and you scream it to the astral worlds, I am mine and mine alone, then guess what? This entity, through your silence, takes it as consent that you agree to the terms of a contract you never signed. That's why contracts have such power.
That's why all entities have always said, do you agree to this? It's a working contract. As above, so below. These entities have been using the ideas of corporation and contracts since the dawn of all existence, because it works. That's why they use these things. The Prime Creator is not stupid. He or she works its own way into this clause. There must always be a loophole. There must always be a way out. That is just universal law. This is information that we have that can help free you from this horrible, insidious plan that you and you alone own your soul. And so by you reclaiming your soul today, right now, that you own it, no one else does, and you live like it, it doesn't matter what happens to you. And you'll find your astral space a lot safer, a lot clearer. Or when you do awake and there is some entity there, you have the full authority to say, get the fuck out, this is my place, nothing owns me. And then you're free. But you have to keep that in mind, you have to know it in your heart. Because of the Faustian Pact and because of our puppet masters of this day and age, they have been able to bully and contract and make sure that these low-level entities have nothing better to do than hang around and become aware when a human, which in these days is really nothing more than a two-legged cow, because their consciousness is trapped in this state of total self-absorption. They can only see the carrot that's being dangled in front of their faces, and that carrot is often, you know, entertainment news or fear-based programming or sports or something that is truly, truly trivial in the grand scheme of things. But they don't have enough awareness to piece a larger picture together, and they definitely don't have enough awareness to figure out what's going on in their own subconscious. They don't question why they think certain things. They don't question anything about themselves, truly. They are very much trapped in a narrow focus. The shadow people are there because our puppet masters want humans to remain in this false, manipulated reality, and they want them stupid, docile, and unaware. So, on the rare occasion that humans have an experience that borderlines on psychic, that borderlines on awareness increasing, they will generally have an astral experience, an out-of-body, a near-death, a lucid dream. They will often encounter entities that are very belligerent and very angry. And this is for two reasons. One, the entities that they can contract to make sure they stay around have been bullied. They don't like you. They don't like the fact that they have to hang around you to scare you back into submission. And second, because of the nature of the entities and where they come from, they're generally negativity based anyways. So you have two things why that they're so belligerent, angry, and oftentimes scary. They are bound by higher, more powerful entities because of a hierarchy system, have set these little miscreants to work. They appear human because they hang out with you all the damn time. So they start to take on your form. It makes sense to them that they would appear to you in something that you can conceive of as being a humanesque quality. They show themselves as having humanesque limbs, faces. They take on forms that are deeply rooted in the human collective subconscious that's scary. Authority figures like a shadow man with a hat, or disfigured people, rats, shadow spiders, shadow dogs, shadow cats, shadow snakes. These are things that humans have an innate fear of. So it only makes sense that these are beings who use your energy as a form of sustenance. And fear, panic, worry, distress, and depression are rife with dense, gnarly little vibrations that these things have to feed on. It's sustenance. They're basically leeches that need to use you and provoke negativity in and around you to get sustenance from, because they're not allowed to leave you and progress. That's why breaking the Faustian pact, reclaiming your soul as yours and yours alone, not only releases you, but releases them. They don't then have to hang around you anymore. They are free then to go and progress, evolve. Freedom for one does not truly exist until freedom for all. That's a powerful statement, and truly a compassionate one. For as much as I've put my astral sword to a number of shadow people, I've also helped other people really break that Faustian pact, and they aren't plagued by these things anymore. I will say that the majority of shadow people are absolutely harmless. They can be belligerent, creepy, very distressing, but they can't do anything because they need your energy. These are interdimensional beings. They do have consciousnesses that come from other areas. What you need to have is a better occult understanding. These shadow people live right on the edge of waking consciousness. They're right there. So even slight changes of what's the usual doldrum of a human's awareness can trigger a sighting of one of these things. Because your astral senses, your dream body, the beginning of your astral body is all linked into the lunar planetary sphere, commonly referred to as Yesod. This is where all your astral, your deepest, darkest aspirations, both good, bad, your desires, your sexual energy, all these things are tied into this one particular sphere. Because it's a lunar energy, it doesn't have any visibility until your personality, which is tied into the solar planetary sphere of Tipperoth, gives it light. So basically, the moon doesn't shine until until the sun's rays hit it and then reflect it back. So your personality will reflect back what's waiting for you in the astral world. You essentially give light to a dark, formless void. Now, these entities are then fed by that personality, and the strength of them is determined by what kind of personality, what kind of attributes that you are. If you are a negative, fearful, overly complicated, melancholy, megalomaniac, psychopathic, sociopathic individual, then the strength of these shadow people will be in tune with that. However, if you are truly someone who is saying, you know what, I want to be better, I want to achieve a higher potential, and you're doing it from a humble standpoint, you're not doing it to be an elitist asshole, you're just going, you know what, I want to see what I can do, and I want others to maybe do the same. And that kind of energy does not bode well with these shadow creatures. They don't like it. They can't do much with it because it's a brighter, lighter, much more refined sustenance that they're not used to, and they can't handle very well. A lot of these things hang around people because they just don't ever question what their personality is. They don't question their deeper motives. They don't question why they do certain things. They don't question why they get up in the morning. They just go through the doldrum, get you in, get you working, get you at a cubicle, get you paying taxes, watch some TV, buy our genetically modified food, buy our drugs because it'll make you sick, try to go to sleep, buy Ambien so you can sleep, wake up the next day and do it all over again mindset, which is what our puppet masters want you in. So, evaluate yourself. If you see the shadow people, don't worry. Work on yourself and they'll go away.
Jag och min herre varit utomlands just hemkomna. Förstår du? Mina piktor.
Och när lammet bröt det 7:e inseglet uppstod i himlen en tystnad som varade vid pass en halv timme. Och de 7 änglarna som hade de 7 basunerna gjorde sig redo till att stöta i sina basuner.
I think there needs to be further clarification when it comes to the topic of what the Black Sun is and the global death plot that really truly is being hatched. It's all based on Kabbalic symbolism. The Kabbalah and its underverse current, the Palap. At the highest level of the Kabbalah, in a place called the planetary realm of Uranus or Kether, where all possibility, where the prime creator is, where everything, anything, and all things exist simultaneously. The highest, most sacred symbol of the human race is the swastika. Now immediately you think the Nazis, and there's a reason for that. The swastika is the whirling force of the 4 elements of fire, water, earth, and air. And they're whirling outwards. Kether is the outpouring idea, the potential for greatness. And it is literally shooting all needed energies in a limitless outpouring to all those who would connect with it. It is a life giver. Life-giving. It is strongest when more people awaken to the realization of their own divinity. Like little lights in a sea of darkness. The more lights, the more people who have become aware, the stronger and brighter the light is. Malkuth in Kabbalic symbolism, where we live, is sometimes called the black sphere or the dark sphere. And it's not in any way considered evil. It is the macrocosm of Kether, where Kether is bright, brilliant, and splendid. The colors of Malkuth are dull, haven't really yet been shown. So we need as much people as we can upon the physical plane to realize their full potential and bring the light of Kether to the physical realm of the kingdom of Malkuth. And the more people who become aware of their divine nature, they become kings and queens of their own realities here upon the earth. That is the kingdom of heaven built with hands of flesh. This is the high level stuff that Christianity and all other religions have been manipulated to take you away from, to confuse you, to make you feel lowly and pathetic, and so therefore you can't do this. The symbol of Malkuth is an equal-armed cross, very similar to the life-giving swastika, but things are stable here, or they have the appearance of not moving. The great whirling is above us, spilling out energy for us to collect here on the equal-armed cross. Moving energy becomes form here on the physical world. That is what high-level Kabbalic Hermetic magic is all about. Even my own German occultism talks about the whirling energy force. That's for all people to have. Sometimes viewed as the sun, but it's deeper than just the sun. let's talk about the black sun. The black sun is part of the Quilopian Luciferian. On Kether, energy flows out to the universe. On Malkuth, it becomes static. Force is given form. This is where the real extermination plot comes in. Because with Kether, the more people who become aware of their divinity, the rays of that light get stronger. On the Luciferian Quilopian current, the less people who tap into that current, the stronger it gets. So with the bright, the righteous, whirling force of Kether and the Kabbalah, the more people. On the Kulop, the less people. So the Kulop also has its own version of the swastika the Nazis used. That was not an outpouring of energy. That was like a drain, a spiral of stealing and devouring energy. This dark sun sucks the life force from everything. Sucking the life force from it and giving it only to those who are following the Luciferian current. The Quilopian Luciferian current is the religion of oligarchy. It is the religions of those crazy kings and queens, all inbred assholes who sat in their towers, in their ramparts, in their castles, on their thrones, delusioned and crazed with power. Their thoughts twisted and corrupted in their dark little chambers as they sat there alone in the darkness. They sat there alone in the darkness and suddenly they could see the glowing reptilian eyes. The scaly hand reached out for them and led them down a dark and horrid path. They were taught the other mystery. Their form of illumination is that the Quilopian Luciferian rays are strongest only when there are fewer and fewer. And the one who is left, the one who climbs to the very top of their pyramid, gets the full focused laser ray. The one. Their belief is that there's a chosen one. Like the Bible says there's a chosen one. We are all chosen. Do you see where the Bible has been corrupted? The chosen. Who's to say who that is? Except for the one willing to do the darkest deeds to get it. Because to own an entire world of people, you must do some horrible things. So that energy, that black sun, sucks energy away. Eats it, devours it, and bestows it upon whoever wants it. But the more people who want it, the less strength, the less power there is in it. Until there's only one. Because there's a reflection of macrocosm and microcosm. If there is but one king upon the earth, they are a direct reflection of the one power above them. That's the Luciferian current. So that's why people say, well, they want a one world government. They want a one world king who would be then the reflection of the soul force of the Luciferian current. Where the Kabbalah and the Kether and the life-giving swastika says we're all kings and queens, the Quilopian says no. Only one. He will rule you all. Ah, that sounds familiar. One ring to rule them all. That's from German occultism. The dark sun. A devouring, sucking life, putrefying force that gives life to things like trans-Plutonian beings. The world global extermination plot comes from the fact that they need to kill off 90% of us. 7 billion people are way too much to control. They can, however, distract us. They can't control us. There's a reason. They keep you distracted. American Idol, Real Housewives of who the fuck cares. Doesn't matter. You people need to begin seeing the divinity within you, because the only thing that staves off the energy of the black sun is divinity and adherence to the life-giving forces, adherence to becoming a king and queen so that you can show others how to do it, not eliminate others in the process of becoming it. Do you see what it is? The Antichrist is not a person. It's not one person. It's all peoples who decide that they would rather sacrifice the whole for the one. That is the Antichrist energy of the black sun of the Quillopian energy current. They need to kill off 90% of us so that we're easier to control. And so now they've formed together. They're going to globally unite the world, systematically kill off people, and then infight for control. There it is. There's the New World Order, people, right there. For all those still wondering what the deal is. And the crazy thing is that after the humans get it, after the one Illuminati becomes the Asesimus, then the reptilians hit. They become it. It's universal, not just global.